If you can't make it out here in Mexico, you got nobody to blame but yourself.
Bruh.
Yeah, that's right. I said it. Somebody had to say it. Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another episode. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about, well, the things that most expats complain about when they move out here to Mexico. And there's a lot of complaints. But hey, we're going to see if we can, get through all of these, all right, without making this episode too long because, honestly, I could be here forever. All right, so let's just get into it, all right? The first reason and, the most, astonishing reason, that a lot of people, just don't like living out here in Mexico is the fact that they're always complaining about how expensive everything is. How they basically say, I spend about the same amount of money I'm spending in the U.S. as I'm spending here in Mexico. My cost of living is $3,000-$4,000 a month. And I'm always asking myself, what are these people spending their money on? I don't really understand, because I myself live on $1,500 US dollars a month, okay? Give or take, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. It all depends on, whether I have an emergency or, I got to spend a little extra money on something or not. Again, some months are great and I don't have to spend that much money. But at the end of the day, $1,500 is more than enough. It's plenty of money to live pretty comfortably out here in Mexico. And the typical middle-class family out here in Mexico, well, they're only making 23,000 pesos a month, which translates to 1,500 US dollars a month. Again, it all depends on the exchange rate at the moment or whenever you're watching this, but it's again, I'm middle class. I live like, again, a good majority of the Mexicans out here, which again, I got some stats for you guys, all right? In the sense of there's 47 million Mexicans, okay? 47 million Mexicans that live in middle class. They consider themselves middle class, all right? So there's a lot of Mexicans that live, on that amount of money very comfortably, and they can raise a family on that amount of money, all right? In fact, 78 million Mexicans, okay? 78 million Mexicans make a lot less than that. So again, the good majority of the population, 78 million Mexicans, make less than 1,500 a month, okay? And again, as you guys can see in most of my videos, and as you guys have seen in other YouTubers' videos out there, hey, the Mexicans are out there spending. The Mexicans are out there living their lives. Again, the economy here is getting better. Life for a typical Mexican is getting better and better. And again, I've talked about this in other episodes. We're not going to be talking about the economy at the moment, okay? I'm just trying to wrap my head around the fact that I don't understand how so many expats come out here and they cannot live on 1,500 a month. Again, I'm not saying that you're going to be living in the lap of luxury. All right. Again, if you want to live in the lap of luxury, if you want to live like the upper class of Mexico, which is, again, just 1.2 million. Again, basically 1 million. All right. Let's just say 1.5 million. 1.5 million Mexicans are considered upper class. Okay. And that's basically, again, 77,000 pesos, or roughly 4,500 US dollars, okay? So if you're making 4,500 US dollars a month in one shape, form, or another, listen, you're upper class, okay? You're all the way at the top, all right? Anything below that, you're middle class, all right? And yeah, look, I know the average, okay? Average middle class is 1,500 US dollars, but there's families out there, there's households that bring in more, maybe 2,000, 2,500. But these are the families, they got kids, they got a lot to maintain. In fact, most of them have so much extra money left over that they got to put it somewhere. And again, the typical thing for a Mexican to put their money in is property or land. That's why you see many Mexicans not only have one home, they got 2 homes, 3 homes, maybe even 4 homes. Some of them inherited a home. So let's say, again, the husband has a home that he inherited from the family. The wife has a house that they inherited from the family, and they buy a home on their own. That's already 3 homes right there. And again, this is not everybody, but all I'm saying is that, almost every income level within that middle class, okay, which is, again, 47 million people, all right, most of them have enough money where they can support 1, maybe 2 households, and again, even invest in properties or invest in other things out there. So I've already mentioned, upper class and middle class, but hey, there's everyone that goes below that, just everyone that's just regular class, all right? I don't want to say low class or below middle class, look, just regular class or regular people, all right? So the majority of Mexicans, okay, 78 million Mexicans live on 1,500 or less. And I'm talking about whole families, okay, live on less than that. So why is it that you on your own, okay, or you with your partner cannot survive on 1,500? Again, I live on 1,500. I do not live the fanciest lifestyle, okay? I just don't. But hey, guess what? I am debt free. I always have food on the table. I can pay all of my bills and so on and so forth. So again, I really just don't understand that giant disconnect where so many Americans come out here, so many foreigners, whatever, they come out here to Mexico and they just constantly complain about how things are just so crazy expensive. Again, maybe you should look in the mirror and look and do a little bit of introspective, I don't know, and look at your spending, your own cost of living. And maybe, again, if you drop those Starbucks, if you drop, all the fancy stuff, if you stop getting everything delivered to your home, if you don't shop at Costco every single time, and I could go on and on, again, your own cost of living. You know where you can cut back. And if you cut back, again, and live like a Mexican, like I've always said on this channel, then you'll be fine. You'll be able to live on 1,500 and again, have money left over if you're lucky. Now, again, I understand that everyone wants to have their luxuries. They want to live a certain lifestyle, but don't be coming out here to Mexico thinking that everything is just going to be cheaper. Not everything is going to be cheaper. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to be cheaper. The basics that you need to survive are going to be cheaper, meaning rent, food, and again, all the other things that we need these days, internet, electricity, water, whatever, all right? And so when you put all that into account, well, yeah, of course you're going to be able to live under 1,500. You can even live on 500 US dollars. Again, the link to that video is at the end of this one. I basically break it down what it means to live on around 500 US dollars, 600 US dollars, and around $1,500, which is my own cost of living. All right, and again, just typical middle class. So again, long story short, all right, most people that come out here and are spending way above their pay grade. I don't know what else to say. They were spending way above what they need to be spending. Well, yeah, you're going to be constantly complaining about everything being expensive. When the reality is that it's not. It's not. I came out here, again, almost 6 years ago already, and things just keep getting better and better for me personally. So the people that have been here around the same amount of time or whatever amount of time they've been here, and all they say is, oh my God, everything's more expensive. Oh my God, my expenses are getting higher and higher and higher. Listen, you really just got to look into what you're spending that money on and maybe cut back on some of those luxuries. Maybe you don't need to go to Costco every weekend. Maybe you don't need that Starbucks every day, and so on and so forth. And if you do need that, and you're not making enough money living abroad, well, then maybe you should just stay home in the USA and you can live that lifestyle and go get your Starbucks every day and go get your this every day and so on and so forth. And that's it. It's as simple as that. But again, if you're coming out to Mexico, you got to assimilate in one shape, form, or another. And that's part of it. If you're expecting people to cater to you, that's going to cost you money. The more you need your hand to be held, the more expensive things are going to get. And again, I don't really understand, how there's so many people, again, my age or older, and they need their hand held. They need everything done for them. They cannot do anything on their own. How did you get through life? I'm sorry. I'm really curious. How did you get through life? How did you manage to get to almost retirement or retirement without even knowing how to tie your own shoes? So again, that goes to show, again, the different kind of culture that you have in the USA, where, again, government or corporations or all these other entities out there facilitate life for you. Again, why a lot of it is expensive. And then when you come to Mexico, well, everything's a la carte. Most people they do things on their own. They figure things out. If they got to do some minor plumbing or electrical work at home, they'll look up a video online and they'll do it themselves, all right? or whatever it is they got to do. They try to do everything themselves. When they're gonna go shopping, they go shopping at the local market. They try to buy the cheapest, a more, not even cheapest. They just try to be as frugal as possible. Why? Because they gotta have that dollar stretch, that peso stretch as far as it can. And Mexico, again, they worry about different things. For them, it's a lot more important, to live life, to experience life, to have a better quality of life. And sometimes, it really doesn't mean, going to the mall or having the brand new car, or again, spending unnecessary money or money that they don't even have on crap that they don't even need. And so that's the thing, a lot of times, us Americans, we come out here to Mexico and we just try to emulate that lifestyle out here. People complain about why are the iPhones more expensive? And I simply say, why do you need an iPhone? Why don't you just get a cheap, $200 phone? This phone does every single thing any other Android or iPhone does out there. Oh, you want the fancy camera? Oh, you want the fancy this or that? Well, it's going to cost you $1,300 or whatever they're going for these days, all right? And that's like a month's salary. So most Mexicans are like, yeah, I'm not going to spend a month's salary on a phone, all right? Or whatever it is. I'm not saying that they don't exist. There are tons of Mexicans that, obviously buy these things. The economy's booming, right? So, they're out there, but it's the minority as opposed to the majority in the USA, where, again, I got a friend of mine that owns trailer parks in the USA, and he tells me that, they're all living in trailer parks, but everybody has a brand new, truck or a brand new car or whatever it is. And it's like, why? So, again, don't try to bring that lifestyle out here to Mexico, because that lifestyle is expensive, and that lifestyle is going to be expensive out here as well. And I've talked about this before, and I touched on that, many times on this channel, and so on and so forth. Another thing that a lot of Americans do when they come out here to Mexico is that they try to impose their ways of thinking, their ways of life out here in Mexico. Listen, if you want to live exactly the same way that you were living in the USA, meaning that you can tattletale on your neighbor, you can call the police when the dog is too loud, when the TV is too loud, you can constantly complain about your problems, and there's going to be people that are going to listen and do something about it. Listen, that does not exist in Mexico. In Mexico, everybody has problems. Everybody. Again, only 1.5 million people are upper class, all right? For the most part, everyone else, they got to deal with the loud barking dog. They got to deal with, the loud vendor or the vendors coming to your door. They got to deal literally with everything, okay? Corruption, whatever it is, they just got to deal with it. So when you come out here and you're complaining to a Mexican, you're complaining to anybody, about the fact that, oh my God, I can't get anything done because the dogs are barking. And, they're just barking like regular dogs would bark every once in a while. Or I can't get, XYZ, or, my mechanic or my plumber, says he's going to be here at 2:00 and he doesn't show up until 4:00, or he doesn't show up until the next day, or whatever it is. And I could go on and on. All of these things that make Mexico, people come out here and they complain and complain and complain. And it all falls on deaf's ears. No one cares. Look, straight up, nobody cares about your problems. Nobody cares that the internet company is not giving you internet, and nobody cares, that your mechanic is not bueno. Everyone's mechanic is no bueno. I could go on and on. Okay, everybody has problems. Everybody's dealing with things. And again, out here, it's all about community. Everybody just tries to help each other out. Everybody just tries to create solutions and give solutions to other people, and so on and so forth. And they hate it when people are just coming out here and complaining and trying to change things, and just make it, again, the way that they had it back home. They want to keep that bubble. In fact, they want to increase that bubble, and they want to put everybody under that bubble. They come out here and they complain, about other Americans. It's like, oh, how come that person is getting their residency this way or that way? Again, it drives me nuts, when I hear all the things about residency, for example. Again, when people complain about the financial requirements in order to get residency, listen, that is only one way to get residency. There's so many people that have never stepped foot in Mexico, and they want their residency like that, like immediately. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Again, in no world can you just get residency, all right, without ever even stepping foot in there. Now, listen, you can definitely buy your residency. That's an option. And that's where that comes in. If you are never been to Mexico, maybe you've been to Mexico once, whatever, you don't even live there, you barely come out here, and you're going to a consulate and you're trying to get your residency, listen, it's going to cost you money. And it's as simple as that. You're buying your residency. Okay. But another option, again, the option, that most of you guys, should, take is basically, listen, you made up your mind that you want to move to Mexico. You don't meet no financial requirements to buy your residency. So what do? Well, you come to Mexico and you live in Mexico. Okay, yes, on an FMM, on a tourist visa. Okay, again, it's called a tourist visa, okay? But it's really just a visa. That's all it is. It's a visa to be here, all right? It can be used for tourism. It can be used for many things. The point I'm making is that you come out here and you're living temporarily in Mexico. Eventually, that temporary, residency becomes an actual temporary residency, okay? You come out here on just a regular visa, an FMM, and that FMM eventually will turn into a temporary visa. Again, there are many ways in which you can do this, okay? The main way that most people are doing it these days is just getting their residency through the RNE program, okay? So you come out here, all right, on a tourist visa, for example, and that tourist visa allows you to be in the country for 180 days. All right. Once that visa expires, you go get another one. You keep getting those visas until you can qualify for temporary residency. And then when you go to the immigration office, all they're going to be asking for is like, hey, can you prove that you've been living in Mexico for X amount of time? And of course, you're going to be able to say, yes, of course. Look, I've been in Mexico for 180 days. I had to leave and get the visa renewed. And I've had to do this a few times, AKA, the tourist visa runs, okay? Just the visa run. And, I'm tired of doing this. I live here. I'm a resident here. I can prove that I live here. So can I get my residency? And yes, of course you can get your residency. Then, the immigration office will be more than happy to, help you out with that. And you get your temporary. And then once you've been here long enough on a temporary residency, then you can get your permanent residency. And again, that's just one way to get it. How did I get it? I got it real simple. I didn't know about that program back in the day. It was called something else back in the day, and it wasn't really well known. It doesn't matter. I just got married to my wife, my sweetheart, and oh my God, I mean, it's the best decision I ever made. So, again, I got residency and I got an amazing wife. Yay. How awesome is that? So that's another option. And look, I'm not going to go through all the other options here. Again, there's a bunch of options that I've talked about multiple times on my channel. I'll link those videos down below. You can check out my channel. Again, I talk about all this stuff to you guys, so you guys know that there's many options out there. There's not just one option. So again, if you do not meet the financial requirements, which again, most of you guys don't, you don't got nothing to worry about. You can just get residency like every other immigrant that comes into Mexico. Okay? Now, again, there's a lot of expats out there, a lot of other Americans out there, Canadians, whatever, and they hate the fact that there's options for you to get your residency. In fact, this goes back to trying to impose your way of living in the USA out here, where they're constantly saying, oh, you can't be living out here on a tourist visa. That's illegal. It's not. Oh, you can't be living on an expired residency visa. That's illegal. It's not. And I can go on and on. Oh, they should deport you. They won't. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, stop it. Enough. Get out of here. Shut up. I don't know what else to say. It's so annoying. It gets really annoying, okay? Especially when I see other channels out there. I'm not going to name them. I'm sure you know. You can, in fact, go down in the comments section below and have at it. Knock yourselves out. But long story short, I hate all these people out there that are constantly spreading all of this fake information. I don't know what else to say. And it gets extremely annoying, all right? Especially, for you guys out there that constantly get mixed messages and you don't even know what to believe anymore. And you're just so scared because you don't want to get in trouble. You don't want to go to Mexican jail. You don't want to get deported. Listen, Mexicans that do crimes don't even go to jail. What makes you think that they're going to do anything to you? So again, I'm tired of talking about that topic, but It goes just back to, again, imposing your way out here. Listen, just because in the USA, all right, they're extremely strict with immigration, which again, it's a completely different animal these days, but that's not what we're talking about here. The point I'm trying to make here is the fact that it's not the same. Okay, it is not the same. Okay, things are very different in Mexico, and it's either you get used to it, you assimilate, or hey, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Another thing that is extremely annoying that a lot of expats, a lot of people do when they come out here, and again, it's just constant complaint after complaint. It's simply the fact that they're always complaining about being taken advantage of out here. The gringo price, whatever you want to call it. Listen, I've again talked about this, I've made videos just on this topic. No, you guys have a privilege when you're coming out here, okay? And if you are out here complaining, all right, that somebody is charging you 500 pesos when you know fully well it's really 400 or 450. Listen, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you really literally trying to take advantage of another Mexican? Because that's really what it is. I don't want to hear the whole gringo price thing. Everybody gets gringo priced, even Mexicans. Even my wife gets gringo priced, okay? Whatever you want to call it, that whole price thing. Again, it's not a set system just like it is in the USA. Out here, it's open capitalism. People can charge you what they want, and sometimes they're charging you more just because they got to put up with you. Sometimes they charge you less because you're a nice guy. It's as simple as that. They get to put the price, okay? And if you don't like it, you do not have to hire them. You do not have to keep them around as, employees or whatever. And so it's as simple as that, and then, a lot of people just don't realize the fact that, hey, if they a couple of years ago used to charge you 300 and now they're charging you 400, 450, 500 pesos. Well, again, the same inflation that is happening all over the world, the same inflation that you're complaining about, it's also happening here. So that means that Mexican now has to pay more for a lot of the things that he has to do. Again, food, shelter, water, everything, okay? The kids' tuition, the toys, whatever it is, they got to pay more. And so how can they, bridge that gap? Well, they got to charge more. So it's a simple math. It's simple mathematics. There's nothing crazy here. But you're coming out here and you are now, haggling with these people over what? A couple dollars? $5? $6? Really? You know what I mean? And something that would cost you, again, they're charging you 500 pesos, which is around $30 out here. And, back in the USA, they're charging you, again, $300, not 30, I mean, seriously. Why are you coming out here and nickeling and diming these poor people that are just trying to survive? They're trying to make a living. They're trying to get a better future and a better lifestyle for their own families. And guess what? They don't need your money. They don't need the heartache from you, trying to haggle with them. Again, they deal with that with other Mexicans out there. So that's why a lot of Mexicans, again, if they got to deal with, a needy expat or an expat out there that is just trying to lowball them or whatever, you're never going to see them again. Because, again, if they want that kind of treatment, they can just go to another Mexican. And on top of that, again, there's a lot of us coming out here that think like me or think like you, in which case, again, hey, what is it, 500 pesos? Don't worry about it. Here's 600 pesos. Go buy yourself a few beers. You did a really good job. Or you came out here in the nick of time and you helped me, fix the pipe that was leaking everywhere. Whatever it is you did, it's a favor and I appreciate it. Yeah, I know you're giving me a service, but I appreciate you so much. I'm going to help you out as well. As opposed to, again, lowball you or complain about, hey, why are you charging me 500 pesos, when you finish that job in 1 hour? Aren't you overcharging me? That's like $30 an hour. What are they? And it's like, no, but that's including materials, including the fact that he came out here on an emergency, and I can go on and on. And again, as things are getting more expensive in Mexico, not by much, but they are getting more expensive for everybody. Again, they can still live on 1,500. All right, middle class. Let's not forget that. Everything translates as well. Meaning, hey, they got to charge more. Materials cost more. Everything costs more in one shape, form, or another. And what is it really you're debating here? What are you really trying to do? So that's why a lot of times, you'll see people, Mexicans, that will give you that gringo price, or you might think it's a gringo price, but it's not the gringo price. That's the price that says on the menu. That's what it says right there. Stop complaining about the price that's printed on there. What? That's a gringo price? What? You can only you can see that price? No, that's a price for everybody. So you can either take it or leave it. Okay? And that's why, again, even as things have gone up in price, a lot of Mexicans, well, they're very handy. They're very, frugal. They can make things happen. So they do. They do it themselves, and so on and so forth. Another thing, okay? And again, this has to be said. But listen, a lot of people, okay? A lot of Americans, okay? Older Americans. Listen, you ruined your own country. You ruined your own life. You ruined a lot of things, okay? And it is what it is. Nobody's perfect. I, have my own situations. I've gone through my own things as well. But at the end of the day, I'm not going out of my way to ruin the life of other people. I'm not, again, coming out here to Mexico to now ruin Mexico by imposing the ways of the USA or imposing, all these things that I'm running away from. I want to come out here and bring them out here as well. You know what I mean? I constantly, again, people out there complain about freedom, that there's no freedom in the USA, that the police are horrible, and all these things that happen. And then they come out here and the first sign of trouble, they're looking and calling for the cops instead of dealing with it themselves. And again, there's just so many things like that. They go to a restaurant or they go to a business or they deal with somebody and they did, it wasn't good business, whatever. The restaurant sucked or, the mechanic was not as good as you might have thought. And again, all you're looking for is like, oh, how can I complain? Where can I leave a Yelp review? How can I ruin this person's life for, again, inconveniencing me? And I could go on and on. And so the thing is, it's like, listen, none of that is appreciated out here. Again, don't be coming out here and again, trying to ruin, a good thing. Every Mexican most Mexicans, okay? I don't want to speak for every Mexican, but most Mexicans out there are very happy with all the growth. They're happy with the gentrification in many cases because now they have all these things that they never had before. Now they get to give their family a better life. They get to live a better life, and so on and so forth. Don't be coming out here and speaking for them. Don't be coming out here and saying, oh, all these gringos that are coming out here are ruining it for, all the Mexicans. No, they're not. Have you asked the Mexicans? Most people have not. Don't be speaking for them. Again, I know that there's some Mexicans out there that don't like gentrification. A lot of them, that don't like, a lot of this growth or what have you. But most of them do. Why wouldn't you? Why would you, again, if you're a poor person, just a regular middle class person, and all of a sudden you're making more money, you have more opportunities, you have more awesome things, right in front of you, meaning that you can just walk over, to the fancy mall or the Starbucks or drive a new car or live a better life. Why would you not want that? Everybody wants that, okay? You want that, okay? So again, they want that as well. So stop trying to ruin it for them by saying that, oh, they don't want that. You don't know that. Again, the economy speaks for itself, okay? You get to see whether they want it or not, okay? When you go to the mall, it's filled with people. When you look at the streets, all the cars, everybody has cars, nice fancy cars everywhere. And I can go on and on and on. Another interesting dynamic that's happening out here in Mexico is that, again, 5-6 years ago, most of the Americans, that were out here, most of the people that were out here that were foreigners, they were, again, boomers, they were, again, a lot of retirees, just that age range, okay? I know there's a lot of you guys out there in that age range, that are watching this video, but the reality is that there was a lot more of them. In fact, that was the majority of the immigrants, okay? It was that, again, kind of age range and that kind of, person. But as time has gone on, that has changed dramatically. Where I was, again, just doing some research a little earlier, and I quickly realized that, oh my God, it's actually changing very dramatically. Now, most of the people, most of the immigrants, most of the foreigners, most of the Americans that are coming out here are around my age. They're in the, late 30s, 40s, 50s, and they still have a life to live. They still have a lot to do with their lives. They're not just retired, okay? So, the dynamic is changing a lot. So again, if it's someone that's my age, around my age, again, 50, 40, 30 something, whatever it is, you're coming out here and, you want to live life, you really want to enjoy life, and it's not all about just sitting back and enjoying the luxuries. No, you want to raise a family out here. You want to be able to afford life. You want to be able to have a roof over your head, pay for all your basic necessities, and still be able to enjoy your life and be able to give your family, assuming that's what you're choosing to do, to give your family the best possible, life that you can. And so a lot of people are now moving out here with that intention. They're coming out here with kids. They're coming out here and bringing their whole business out here and setting up their business, whether it's a restaurant or whether it's, massage parlor or whatever it is. There's so many things, mechanic, I can go on and on and on. There's so many people they just can't make it as a small business in the USA, or they just can't make it even just living just a regular, middle class life in the US, which doesn't even exist anymore. And they can come out here to Mexico and do that. And so now, there's so many people that are coming out here in that demographic. And so a lot of retirees, okay, that were promised, that they would be able to retire in luxury. All they had to do was work, and they would have the best retirement possible. Well, guess what? Here we are in 2024, and that's not really the case. The reality is that a lot of people now are, starting to find out very quickly that not only is their retirement not enough, okay? It's basically they got to keep working and working to make it enough, all right? And so a lot of people that are already retirement age, they want to come to Mexico, all right? Or anywhere else, and they want to live that life that they were promised. And that's where they go above their means and above their budget. Instead of, again, just, hey, look, I was lied to. I only get, by the government or whatever it is, I'm only getting a certain amount a month. It is definitely not enough. I definitely can't make it in the USA for 1,500. But hey, at least in Mexico, I can live a dignified life, a regular life. But no, they come out here and then they complain and they want more, me. And again, it's never enough. And so again, that's a major component, to a lot of people that are complaining out here. It's just that people that were promised one thing and now they're at the end of their life, they're at their retirement age, and they're quickly realizing that it's not enough. And then so that they're looking for a country to move to so that they can live the way that they were promised, to live in the lap of luxury, to live like a king or a queen, only to quickly realize when they come to Mexico, hey, you'll be lucky to get middle class status, all right? And that's not what they want. A lot of people just don't want to sacrifice and don't want to give up a certain lifestyle that they had in the USA. And, that's just the sad reality of it. A lot of people, they got different priorities. It is what it is. But to me, it's more like, look, I don't know what else to say. If you're at this age and you have nothing to show for it, why do you, again, gotta come out here to Mexico or to another country and make it somebody else's problem? Nobody cares. Okay? And that's just, again, that's another sad reality. And why a lot of, people come out here, retirement age, and they're bitter and they're upset and they get mad. And I can go on and on as to, why are things the way they are. Again, please, in the comments section, if you're still at this point in the video and you're living in Mexico, and can you share your expenses with us, especially, okay, if they're under 1,500 a month, all right? And even if you're on Social Security or whatever it is, what it is that you're making, a month, and so on and so forth, please help down below the people that are watching this video that are still at this point in this video, if again, with more information on again, what it is that you're making, what it is that you're bringing in, and what your actual cost of living is, what your expenses are. Because that's going to help a lot of people, to really kind of like see things for what they really are, which for whatever reason, there's so many YouTubers out there that are just not giving that, a reality check. They're not really telling it like it is. Look, again, as I was telling you guys earlier about the dynamic, when it comes to, the age range. Okay, that a lot more younger people are coming out here. Well, guess what? If you're younger, you have a lot more potential to make more money. All right. And since you're making more money, well, you can afford a better lifestyle. But if you're already at retirement age and you're only getting whatever pension or check or whatever it is you saved up, whatever it is you got, that's all you got. You got to make it work. You got to make it happen. And you can't, again, force it upon everybody else to cater to you. Like they don't care. I don't want to be so cold-hearted or just, so cold about this, but that's just the reality of it. Everybody out here is dealing with their problems just like everyone else, all right, around the world. It's just not a culture of, woe is me. because again, we're all in this together. All right. And so with that being said, nobody is above anybody else. All right. Again, people are very nice and friendly, and they help each other, and they're all part of a community and all this other stuff. But in order for you to join that, you also got to be like them. You got to be nice. You got to be friendly. You can't be lowballing everybody. You can't be acting a certain way, because you're going to isolate yourself very quickly. Before you know it, no one's going to be your friend. No, you're not going to have anyone around you. You need to make an effort, okay, in order to get along with everybody. It doesn't mean you got to think the same or whatever. But again, so many people come out here and they get mad at other people because, again, hey, how come you believe this and don't believe that? How come this or that? And again, it's like, no, nobody cares. Everybody out here has a different way of thinking, and everybody gets along. So you need to do the same. If not, don't let the door hit you on the way out. It's as simple as that. And again, it goes without saying. I've said it multiple times on the channel, all right, that you need to assimilate. And again, it doesn't mean that you got to learn the language. Of course, it helps. The more language you know, the more Spanish you know, all right, the more, you're assimilated to the customs of everything around you, the better it's going to go for you. Again, Spanish is not mandatory, all right, but it definitely helps, all right. The fact is that if you act and behave, and again, everything about your lifestyle is just like all the other Mexicans' lifestyle, and listen, they're gonna treat you like one of their own. They're very nice and very friendly out here. But if again you come out here and you try to be above them, you try to act a certain way where again you are you and they are them. No, there's nothing like that here. Okay, it's not gonna go well for you here. They're gonna charge you more for that. Okay. All that costs money. So if you're constantly getting gringo priced, if you're constantly, getting, the raw end of the deal out here, and you just constantly hate it, everybody hates me, blah, blah, blah. Again, you got to look at yourself. What are you doing wrong? What is going on with you? Because why are there so many other Americans that live out here that are having an amazing life living out here? They have again, everything just keeps getting better and better for them. And this is their new home. And it's simply because, again, a lot of it has to do with attitude, all right? That a lot of you guys, just, again, might need to look into the mirror and see what's, what you're doing wrong, what's going wrong, and fix it. Or else, you're going to continue to be miserable. And that's simple as that. And as I was saying earlier, if you're coming to Mexico and you need someone to constantly hold your hand throughout the whole process of moving out here, living out here, and everything, it's not going to go well for you. And again, you got to ask yourself the question, why do you need someone to hold your hand all the time for everything? Again, I understand. If you're coming out here and everything is a brand new experience, yeah, you're going to need some help here and there. But you got to have autonomy in order for you to be able to do most of these things that, again, it's commonplace for everyone else around the world. It's funny. I talk to so many people out there, and many people, they just reach out to me and say, hey, Jose, thank you so much. I really appreciate your videos and your knowledge. I was able to do all of this on my own. That's awesome. Yay. You know what I mean? Like, it makes me very happy that, people are out there that, they can do things on their own. I don't know why this is such a controversial topic, but so many people that, again, they're just constantly like, oh my God, I need so much help constantly for everything. Listen, not only is that going to cost you money, but to top it all off, it's just not going to end well for you. It's just simply not going to end well for you because, again, if you are already past a certain age and you don't know how to even tie your own shoes, all right, wipe your own butt, whatever it is, listen, it's not going to end well for you, okay? It's just not. You're not going to have a really good experience out here because, again, even in the USA, nobody's out there holding your hand. Now, I get it, the lay of the land. You're on home turf in the USA, and it's a lot easier for you out there. But if you're coming out to a new country, well, you're not on home turf anymore, all right? You're playing an away game, as they like to say. So that means that you got to, assimilate one shape, form, or another. You got to, figure out the lay of the land before it's too late. And, again, I understand that some people might need a little help. That helping hand, sometimes you do need your hand held a little bit, just to kind of get your feet wet, but it shouldn't be a constant thing. Again, guys, you guys already know, all right? I don't sell anything on this channel, okay? At the same time, I have a website, okay, tons of free information and tons of links to people that will help you out, okay? I have personal assistants, again, to help you hold your hand temporarily, getting you into a home. I got lawyers, to help you with all kinds of things, well, just one lawyer, but, his name's Jose Novello. Shout out to him. But what I'm saying is that I got tons of information for you to help yourself, okay? And yes, in many cases, you need a lawyer. And sometimes you need an assistant to help you with X, Y, and Z. You need these things. But at the end of the day, you should be able to, handle most of it on your own, once, certain barriers have already kind of been breached. You don't need constant help for everything. And so that's why, again, I give all my information for free. And the only thing I'm ever going to charge you for is my time. Again, I give you already so much of my time for free, whether I'm doing these videos or I'm on a live stream answering your questions, or sometimes when you, again, leave me a comment down below, I try to answer your question briefly, or even sometimes some of you guys send me emails because you just need that question answered right now. You can't wait until I get to my computer so I can answer the comment. Bruh. And it's just, that's the things I'm talking about. The fact that, it's all about me, and you don't ever think about, hey, what about this person that's helping me out? Maybe I should help them out since they're helping me out. Again, I never asked for anything, but again, have some respect for other people's times, other people's, effort, and so on and so forth, all right? Not just me, but my whole crew, everyone that's on the website helping you with whatever it is, okay? Please understand that we're not here to cater to you and all your needs. But, if you do need that, again, the one thing I do offer is, again, I sell my time. And how do I sell my time? Well, through video calls, all right? And it's as simple as that. You want to have a one-on-one call with me, all right? And you can ask me anything you want. You can go on ahead and do that. You can book your call, on my website, and I'll be more than happy to help you out with whatever it is you need. Again, some of you guys, that's what you do. You watch a bunch of my videos, you hire me for an hour, you ask me all the questions that you wrote on your notebook, I answer them for you, and that's it. You take care of the rest. You might just need to reach out to the lawyer to maybe get your immigration thing. You might have to reach out to Stephanie or somebody else in order to, again, get you some housing, get you a vet, again, whatever, veterinarian for your animal, whatever it is, a doctor, things like that. But at the end of the day, again, I try to make everything as easy as possible. But the less you are able to do for yourself, the more expensive things are going to get. It's as simple as that. Okay? If you are, somebody that can do things for yourself, well, it's going to be a lot easier for you because you already got all this free information from me and you don't got to pay me anything. All right. But if you want me or anyone else to go above and beyond, well, it's going to cost you money just like everywhere else. But no one is forcing you to pay for anything. Some of you guys come out here to Merida and you want to meet me in person and get offended when I have to charge you for money. It's like, listen, I live my own life out here. I'm not waiting on a whim for people to reach out to me so that I can go and hang out with them and have a beer with them. I would rather have a beer with my friend. I would rather have a beer, with my, Mexican friends, okay? My family, my wife, whatever it is. I spend time with my dog, whatever, all right? But I don't, I love you guys. I really appreciate you guys, but again, if you also appreciate and love me in return, well then, come on, please, reciprocate that with at least a little bit of respect for my time or my effort. And that's it. And I love you guys so much, but there's a lot of people, not everybody's nice, not everybody's perfect, not everybody, thinks like this, okay? And this is why I'm making these videos, trying to give that reality check to a lot of you guys out there that, again, just, for whatever reason, cannot make it out here in Mexico, which to me is insane because I have no idea. Again, I understand that you might not be able to make it in the USA because things are very difficult, but for you not to be able to make it in the USA and then come out here to Mexico, which is extremely easy in comparison, and you still can't make it out here, I don't know what to tell you, man. I really don't know what to tell you. And especially after seeing so many success stories of people that have come out here and done it. And again, I get surprised all the time by people, by like, hey, Jose, I watched your videos a few years ago and look at me now. I got this amazing business. I got an amazing family. I got an amazing home. I got an amazing whatever. Wow, that's awesome. You're doing better than me. Look at that. How amazing is that? But when, again, people come out here, and again, it's the same thing. They've been here for years, and they're struggling with their expenses. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know what to tell you, except make videos like this and try to point things out to you guys so that hopefully you don't make these mistakes, you don't commit these errors. And when you do come across people that are living in their bubble or living a, not so good life out here, well, it doesn't affect you. But the reason, again, I make these videos more than anything else is because, well, there's a lot of us that are moving out here more than ever. And I've looked at the statistics. Sorry, my English is not so good sometimes. And look, long story short, the country where the most Americans move to is Mexico. And it's not even close. Americans move to many countries around the world, but Mexico is by far the most, moved to place of all the other countries out there, okay? So, with that being said, again, I want to make sure that when you're coming out here, you know what you're in for. You understand that, again, things are different out here. Things are awesome out here. In fact, the things that make Mexico so different are what make it so awesome. It's not for everybody. I totally understand it, and I totally get it. Some people just want a certain lifestyle, and they don't want to settle for anything less. And for those people, again, that's why I make these videos, to just, again, give them that reality check as to what things are really like out here in Mexico. And for those of you guys out there that already, love Mexico, or, again, have this vision of Mexico as to how awesome and how great it is, again, I really hope that these videos, that I make, not just this one, but all the other ones I have on my channel, really help you, kind of bridge that gap. Which, again, I constantly hear from you guys that it does. And a lot of you guys have your, apprehensions, or, again, you're scared, of coming out to Mexico. I get it. I had that myself, okay? But after watching my videos, after seeing, what I show on the camera, on my adventures, throughout the city, throughout Mexico, and so on and so forth, you guys feel more comfortable. You guys feel more at ease that, hey, it's not going to be as difficult as I once thought it was. And you come out here and you hit the ground running, and the rest is history. Okay? And for those of you guys out there that are still having trouble, out here in Mexico, I wish you the best. And I hope that, again, I don't even know why you're still watching this video all the way through, but if you are, you already know the deal, guys. It's time for me to get out of here. So with that being said, you already know, if you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon, but more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.